Well, I think that we're live. Well, g'day everyone. How are we going today? Just checking this too. I'm streaming 4K 60 today. This is a test to see if YouTube can handle this resolution. I've got no problems at my end, but this is really pushing it. So I'm just going to see how it goes. So we'll have to check. So let me know if there's much buffering and things like that, guys, as we go along, because I want to check that out. Now, let me just go to here, rundown. I'm just going to put up pre-show, just so that we know that that's on there. So let's see who's here in the chat. So let me go full screen, actually. I'll just check there. So Heath is here. Brett is also here as well, just saying hello, David. Melissa's here. G'day, Melissa. How you going? Nice to see you here as well. Lovely big cat that you've got there. Heath is saying hello, David and friends. RVG1 is saying hello from Plantation, Florida. So welcome from Florida. Shane is saying good morning from lockdown. What's it saying? Good morning from lockdown, Townland. Yeah, we are still locked down. Let me see too if what's that saying is lower than the recommended bit rate. We recommend you stream. I'm just checking the warnings that are coming up there. Let me keep going. Brett says you left your point on over the video playback. What's that mean? You left your what point on over the video playback? Yeah, I know. I saw that before, Brett. I think you're talking about the bottom bit or something, were you? Hello, David. Hot day in Los Angeles and a double Miller Lite. Well, I'll be starting to have drinks with you again soon too now, because we're nearly into spring. So it's going to be Corona time for me as well. Brett said pointer. Oh, no, I don't know why that came up, that pointer. I think because I can see it on another monitor that I've got there and it's still showing on that, but it's not showing up there. So I'm going to have to look at that, because I think there's actually a pointer that I can see on there, and it must be a mouse pointer that's sitting from my streaming device that I've got down here. So it's probably going to keep sitting there, so I don't know if I can get rid of it. There is Audio Gene said, yeah, I know, how good is that for a change? And I got it right first up. Yes, it's 4K. Yep, I'm doing 4K 60 today. So I don't know whether we're going to drop out much, but look, I'm going to give this a go because I really want to push the boundaries. The maximum you can broadcast to YouTube is 4K 60. And it's even a checkbox that you've got to click on to be able to do it. So I think it's almost experimental at this stage, but, you know, we'll see how it goes anyway. Cursor on your right here. So is it still there? Oh, yeah, it is. So where's that coming from? Is it this one? Ah, okay, I'm just going to have to move that out of the way. Now I've found out where it is. It's from another button. Yep, I got it. So that's fixed now. Michael said, looks good so far. G'day, Ike. Good to see you here. I'm still got to do that video with we did at WPPI. I've still got it all. I'm definitely going to do it. I must do that as soon as I can. I've just been too busy. It's ridiculous. 4K 60 working fine here. Well, that's great. Like I said, I'm really pushing the boundary, the technology limits at the moment. Chris said, real clear and looks good. Joel says, hello, everyone. G'day from the Netherlands and Netherlands, Amsterdam here. Welcome from that part of the world. Hi there from South Australia. Joe said, hi from Las Vegas, 108 degrees today. Wow. Yeah, we've only got, what are we today? 9 to 18, I think, or 19. It's beautiful weather. We're up to late mid-20s next week, so it's gorgeous weather coming up. But that's hot. I mean, Joe, that is really hot. You wouldn't want to be going out much for that. We'll probably get there up near summer too. If you guys have had a really hot summer over in some of Europe and also the USA, so if we get that sort of summer, we're in real trouble. Thomas said, g'day from North Carolina. Gavin is from Hawaii, just saying hello, saying hi. Juicy said, hi, David, how are you going? Mouse pointer should be now gone, I think. So, yeah, it's gone. Now, that's from the laptop over here. I'm actually using this laptop to get the comments. So that's how I'm doing the comments that you're seeing and that little pre-show thing that you're seeing up there. So that's how that's working. So I'm not using my computer at all to stream here. I'm using different technology down here. So I'm using that to stream with, and I'm using my laptop to get the comments up, and also like the pre-show and stuff that I'm showing up there as well. The point is still there, so it should be gone by now, I hope. Let me just check. Yeah, it's out of the way now. Hey everyone. He said, yeah, it's still on your right ear, it's gone now. G'day Altric, how you going? Yes, the mouse pointer, sorry. Yep, 2160p is what I'm uploading at. Brett Harris said thumbs up. Elliot said, David, on my end, Miami, USA, the 4K 60 is perfect 100%. Now, see, it's interesting because it's now coming up saying YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain a perfect, so I think it's buffering. But it might buffer for a few seconds, but hopefully it'll come back on again. Because, like I said, I'm still seeing perfect from my end, so I think it's YouTube is having an issue on the other end there. So let's see how it goes anyway. I'm going to keep trying. It might be that, like I said, if I'm pushing the boundaries too much, it might be that I go to 4K 30. I'll just see how it goes anyway. But if there's a little bit of buffering occasionally, that's not too bad. Marvin said hi from Florida. Mark said hello all as well. And Paul said hello from the UK. My first live, listen after listening to many recordings on the past. Always a great show, David. Well, thanks for joining us live, because I'm showing that I've got heaps. It's not even using cache. It shows me on the monitor to the left of me over here. It shows me cache that's being used, and it also shows me my data rate that's going up. Now, I've got ample. So it may be that YouTube just can't handle it. But we'll see anyway. We'll just keep going. I'm just going to see how it goes. Buffering here, buffering now. Yep, just started buffering. Yep. So we're going to have to see how it goes. But we'll keep trying and just see if it comes back. Oreo said, hello, David. You are looking super crispy tonight. Thank you, Oreo. Yeah, it's just had a couple of hiccups. Now it's come back to excellent, so it's weird. I don't know what's going on. Dropping out now. Can you please describe your streaming setup, Elliot? Yeah, it's huge. Elliot, stay tuned because I'm going to be doing another video on my other channel. Yeah, now it's gone back to poor. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? I'm just trying to think because I don't think I can change it from here. Let me just try one thing. I might just try and see if I can change it on the fly to 30 and just see if that makes a difference. Let me open up this. Well, this is a bit of a test tonight because, like I said, I am pushing the boundaries a little bit. Where's the black magic? So I'm using the web presenter to stream. So I don't know whether I can change this on the fly. So I'm going to see if I can go down to... No, I can't because it's... Oh, actually, I can do that. I can try... Let me try streaming medium and see what happens. See if that works. I'll try that. Let's just see that. So let me leave that off. I don't know whether that changed it. Did it? Oh, yeah, it did. So it did change it. Oh, well, let's see if that did anything. I'll give that a go. We'll see how it is. It's saying now it's excellent. So I've got excellent connection coming up. So we'll just see what happens. Most people were saying it's starting to buffer. Yeah, I can see that. Just a hiccup dropping out now. Dropping out now, streaming. It's buffering a bit because I don't want it to buffer too much. I mean, it's okay if you get the occasional bit of buffer. It's storming here in Nebraska. It's smooth again. Jim's here as well. G'day, Jim. How you going? Nice to see you here, buddy. Great to see you back online. So it's lovely to see you here again. David, don't break the internet. I love it. And Jim is saying hi as well. Oh, no, it's just gone back to poor again. I'm going to have to play around with some settings too. I don't want to do a speed... Well, let me try it. I'm just going to try a speed test and let me see what my upload speed is and everything at the moment. Let me have a look. So I've got 500 coming down. It's the upload speed that's the important thing. Now, I've got 200 megabits per second upload speed. So see, I've got ample. So this has to be something on YouTube's end. So I'm not going to know until I sort of play around with some settings and stuff and just see what you can get. But it's saying, see, it's saying up here, YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience buffering. But that's not true because I'm actually uploading heaps. But anyway, let's keep going and see what happens. I see you for 10 minutes now without even a single hiccup. 4K 60, absolutely amazing. Thank you so much, Elliot. So it's good that that's working. No buffering here, great quality. See, it's interesting, isn't it? Oh, well, anyway, we'll see how it goes. All right, so let's get stuck in because I've grabbed a whole stack today of news and I haven't even read it. All I looked at the heading, so we're going to look at it together because there's a number of rumours here that talk about some different potential releases that are going to be coming up soon. So let's go to, I've just got to, let me get out of this so that I can see what I'm doing again. Let me go to Super Source and auto on that. And then let me go up to full screen. All right, so let me get rid of pre-show. Let me run down and let me just put that up just for a second just so that I know to switch over. All right, let me go back to social. All right, so it's going to be a little bit awkward. The thing that I have to do this, let me explain why I've got to do it this way, is because, oh, wow, Paul just gave me a lovely donation as well. Paul, thank you so much, Paul. Really appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. So that's £20. Thank you so much, Paul. Thanks, buddy. Now, when I get, all I'm really need now to do this whole setup is to get a new M1 Mac. The problem is the M1 Max can only run really one 5K monitor, and I've got a massive screen now, so I'm going to have to show you this setup. I'll do a video about it, but it's a huge 49-inch screen that I've got here, so I don't think there's enough potential in the M1 Mac to run another monitor. If I did have another monitor that I could connect, then I could do the news actually through the monitor itself and just look at it straight ahead. So what I'm doing at the moment, because of that issue, I'm running my iPad as a second screen. So the news that you're going to be looking at is from the iPad. So once I get this organised, I won't have to do all this. But, you know, just sort of bear with me while we get through this. But I think it probably comes through nice and big and clear anyway. But what I wanted to talk about was this first story here, because there's some wild rumours going around of a new Sony a9 III. Now, I've discussed this with you before that I wasn't sure that we would get one, an a9 III, I mean. But they're saying that there is a new rumour of that. So let me just bring this up and I'll show you what these rumours are saying. I think I'll just make it a fraction smaller. So it's saying about all these rumours, like I said, I haven't read this yet either, so we're looking at this all together at the moment, so it's going to be curious to see what they show. It says about all those rumours, I have no idea who sent them, and 90% of the times they turn out to be wrong, but it happened in the past that a couple of these were right. Now, what they're saying is he's got three sources, I think. So source one is saying the next new compact primes from Sony, and I'd love you to chime in on this because this is, you know, pretty interesting to sort of see what they're saying here about these rumours. But they're saying the next new compact primes from Sony are going to be an FE 18mm 3.5 and also an FE 31 2.2. So what do you think about that? Do you think that's really needed? These are probably going to be really small lenses, though, I would think, and really small and really light. But it's interesting for that focal range. Anyway, I'd love to know your opinion on that. So that's just what they're saying are the next primes. But source number two is saying, and this is more interesting because source number two is saying new GM lenses. So the first two lenses that I showed you up there weren't GM lenses, but these two are, or these ones are, and they're saying the 105. Now, we have had rumours about 105mm for probably 2 years coming out, and it's never eventuated. So this is really quite an interesting rumour here that they're saying it's going to come out again. So it's 105mm f1.4. Now, if that's like the Sigma, I have done a video about that you'll be able to see if you scroll through my videos. I did a video showing me using the Sigma 105 f1.4 on my Sony A9. So if you want to go back and have a look at that, it is amazing. Now, in some ways, the 105 is a better lens for, say, weddings and things like that if you're dealing with closed areas, because the only issue with the 135mm is that you have to have a lot of room to be able to use that, particularly if you want to get full body. You've got to be way back. So 105 is much more friendly if you're dealing with shooting in more enclosed areas. But if this is anything like the Sigma, it is a massive honking lens. You know, I mean, it's huge. But, boy, the results I got from that lens were unbelievable. It's beautiful. I shot a model called Matisse, and go back and have a look at it if you want to check it out. But it's stunning. So I'm sure, being a GM lens too, this is going to be amazing if this does eventuate. And I'd love to try that, because it will be a great one to have in your arsenal. They're also saying a 24-70, and I agree with that. I think we definitely will get new lenses of the 24-70 and the 70-200. It's just what it is. All the manufacturers bring out new lenses for the ones that have been done. And remember, those lenses have been out for a while, so, you know, I love Mark comment down here. That's a classic, because he's dying for it. Mark actually said, for heaven's sake, just release that 105. Can I do it from here? Yeah, I can. I love that, because Mark, I know Mark's been talking to me about that for such a long time. And it would be an amazing lens, and I know he's hanging out for it. That's why I laughed when I saw that. But I think that's great, and I do hope Sony actually does that. And then it's saying down here too that, well, obviously, like I said, the 24-70 and the 70-200, they're also saying an FE 20 to 50mm f2.8. Wow, that's a different focal length. So that's an interesting one. Strange. Oh, I don't know. And they're saying 21/2 and also 22/2 as well. That's the sort of timeline that they're looking at. YouTube has said for Winter Olympics, yeah, that's where the A9 is going to be, that I'll sort of talk about in a second. But now this Source 3, this is the interesting one, because they've said here that, what's it saying? Sony has prepared a sports beast. Now, this will be for the Winter Olympics, for the 2022 Olympics. It's saying that it's a new 20 to 22 megapixel full frame stacked XMR sensor, CMOS sensor, in combination with an upgraded Bion's XR image processing engine. And they're saying here that silent vibration-free electronic-only shutter with anti-flickering shooting. And like I said, I'm reading this because I haven't read this yet, so I want to have a look at what they're saying as well. This is all just, I've grabbed it this morning. I thought rather than read the stuff, I'd look at it fresh with you guys, and then, you know, like I said, it's like we're all sitting around a table reading the news together. Silent vibration electronic free shutter with anti-flicker shooting. Electronic shutter flash sync of up to 1/500th. Ooh, that's nice. That's really interesting. See, so in other words, they're going to take what the A1 has and give it a boost up even from that. So, wow. This might be the one that if I did upgrade my A9, if these sort of things come out like this might be the one that would make me sort of want to upgrade my A9. Even faster than the world's fastest mechanical shutter. Flash sync of the Alpha 1. Wow, that's fantastic. Gee, if that was true, well, it would be an amazing rumour. Blackout-free continuous shooting up to 60 frames per second. Faster sensor enables readout of 120 AEFE combinations per second, including 60 frames per second continuous shooting. Whoa. I mean, look, whether this is true or not, but it's always lovely to, you know, like, dream, isn't it? 5-axis optical in-body stabilization for 6.5 step shutter speed advantage. Well, I'm not sure. That's probably a fraction better. I can't remember what the latest cameras are in there. What the IBIS ratings are. If anyone knows, let me know in the chat, because we can come back to that later on in the chat. If you do put at David Oster too, I think it shows up in a different area on here on my screen. What else is it saying? Professional workflow support with the industry's fastest built-in Wi-Fi, super speed USB 10 gigabits per second. Wow, that's how I've set my studio up. Actually, I've used 10 gigabits networking, and I've done that over the last few days. I was actually under the house yesterday installing it into the studio in here. So I am all ready for 10 gigabits. Bright and large, 0.64, well, it's 5.6 million dot OLED electronic viewfinder with refresh rate of 240 frames per second. 4K 60. Oh, this looks like it'd be a great camera. 4K 60, 10-bit 422 movie shooting with full sensor sampling. Oversampling with extraordinary detail and resolution. Wide dynamic range of 15 stops for stills and 15 plus stops, please. What's it saying? S-Cinetone, but they're not saying, is that the only picture profile that you're going to have? Or are they just going to give you S-Cinetone? That's interesting. Because they're not saying there that it's going to have picture profiles. But if it's got S-Cinetone, that is a picture profile. So that's really interesting that they've mentioned that. I do hope if this is true, I love what Hero said too. He said, if this is real, it will kill off the A1 laugh out loud. I know it's, well, it depends, doesn't it? Because if you're after the megapixels of the A1, it won't. And also if you're after 8K, which will become a thing in the future. I mean, I loved shooting 8K, and I've done a video showing it. I did really love it, but I personally would prefer this than, yeah, the A1, that's for sure. But they haven't said, looking at those figures, whether it's got the picture profiles. That could be the killer, but or whether they're just going to give you an S-Cinetone dial, that you can switch on in the menu. So that's interesting. But I mean, I don't know. Like I discussed this a little while ago, and I thought with the A1 and the A7 IV coming out, do we really need an a9 III? But if these figures are correct, I suppose the thing separating the A1 from this is the 8K. The other thing separating it is it has a better viewfinder, and also it had the 8K, the 8K footage, and it had 50 megapixels in the image file size. So yeah, I suppose that's really all that separates the two of them. I mean, I'd be happy with that A9. I mean, I really only need the 4K 60, and it's got the 10-bit 422. They're not mentioning bit depths and stuff like that, but Marky said A9 III God mode. Like this, if this is true, this is pretty freaky. It really is. Now, let me go on to the next one, because the next story is coming up talking about the A7 III. I've just got to bring this down. Like I said, I've got to deal with iPads here. Is that working? Yep. Let me make it a bit bigger. So this is interesting too. So like I said, I've only read the heading, but the A7 IV will feature a newly developed 33 megapixel. I thought it would have been around 30 megapixel in file size. So that's what I thought it was going to be anyway. So that makes complete sense to me. And it's going to have 5.5 stops of IBIS. Now, are they saying anything else? I finally got the Sony A7 IV specs from a solid source, and I think this is a 95% chance these are right. They're saying launch in October. I originally did say I thought it would happen in September, but they're saying now because of the chip shortage that things are held a little bit back. So, I mean, I'm not surprised with that, with what's going on with the chip shortage. So now they're saying, I think, mid to late October. If chip permits obviously, get better. Newly developed 33 megapixel sensor, 5.5 stops of IBIS. And they're saying, I've been told that Sony's goal with the A7 IV is to really fight back with Canon. And this is why I said to people that I think the longer that we have to wait for this camera to be released, the better this camera is going to be. And I really do think this is going to be incredible. It's going to be interesting to see how this fits as against the a9iii that they were just talking about too. So, wow, I mean, we really are in for an interesting time, I think, with the next couple of camera releases that are going to be coming out. I do predict now, from now on, all of these new cameras that will come out will have the better monitor on the back, which is really a needed thing, because let's be honest, the rear screen on the other cameras that are out, and even the a1 suck. I mean, it sucks. So I can't wait to have a look at one of the new screens, because it is a lot. It will be a lot better. I mean, if you shoot Canon or you shoot Nikon, you already know that, how good those screens actually are. So that's certainly needed. And I do think the a7 IV will have it, and obviously the a9iii would have it as well. What else is it saying? So they're saying they want to compete with Canon. Expect it to be more than an updated Sony a7 III. And like I said, I think that is definitely true. This is going to be a big update. It's probably going to be as big as what we went from the a7 II to the a7 III, which was huge. At the time, you guys know that it's a massive difference between the a7 II and the a7 III. Well, I think we're going to get that again here. I think this is going to be a mix of the a7S III and also the a1. I think it's definitely going to be a mix of that. You're going to get little bits and pieces from each one. I also got some rumours from another news source, but I don't know how good that info is. I will eventually post the non-solid rumour part on Monday, so there's other things to come out. So let's go to the next one, because this is talking about the Tamron, and I just wanted to show this price of the Tamron. Now, I believe this is going to be released in September, so you can actually pre-order this now. It's the 18-300. I've reviewed this, so if you go back and you'll be able to check that out. But great lens, really good lens. I was really impressed with it, actually. I did some surfers and stuff like that with it and some different things. But it's $6.99, so very, very reasonably priced. So that's going to be available, I believe, in September. Another bit of news as well. Godox have released a new flash for Sony. It's called the Ving V863 TTL Li Iron Flash Kit for Sony cameras. Now, it's $229 in stock now, so if you did want to go down this round, you could get that. I actually prefer the round heads. It's just something that I like working with. I think the light fall off is much smoother. So if it was me, I'd be buying the Godox lights that have that round head. Much easier to adapt things on, and like I said, it's a much smoother fall off on the edges, and I do prefer the round heads. But at least, you know, there's another one that's out there as well now. Now, this is interesting too, because if you change to Capture One like I have, they're saying here that they're going to add panorama stitching and HDR merging coming in Capture One 22. This will be a paid upgrade though, so you do have to realise that if you're not on the subscription for Capture One, you are going to have to upgrade to this. I will do it anyway. I like to stay current. I mean, all the new machines that come out, then it's more up to date. So I'll get that for sure. I do beta test for Capture One now. I can't talk much about that because you're not allowed to, but this is a great feature that's going to be put up, because it's certainly something that Lightroom had over Capture One. So this is fantastic that they're adding these two features, panorama stitching and HDR merging, directly there. You don't have to go into Photoshop and do it sort of there. So that's a great feature that's coming up. And the last one before we open up to Q&A is this, and I wanted to get your opinion about this. There's rumours that Sigma are going to release a 90mm 2.8 lens. This is pretty cool as well, because like I love the 85mm focal length. 90mm, these look beautiful if that's the case of what they're going to look like, but they're saying here that they've leaked the specs of the 90mm 2.8 L-mount lens. The FE version will basically have the same specs, so they're saying it's going to be basically exactly the same. It's a 90mm 2.8. It's 11 lenses in 10 groups, and 9 diaphragm blades, circular diaphragm, maximum shooting distance 0.5, so you can get fairly close. Maximum shooting magnification 1.5, so it does give you a semi-macro. The filter diameter is 55mm. Wow, that's tiny. The size is 64 by 59.7 and it's 295 grams. That's pretty cool. So best suggested retail price in Japan, the same as the 35F2. I don't know, I reckon that's pretty cool. They're also saying Sigma will also announce a new 24mm f2.0, 2.0 DN contemporary lens. How much stuff are we getting now for Sony? It really is unbelievable. So let me just switch back to here. And let's open up to Q&A. So let me go do this rundown and put questions up. Take those off. All right, so let's open up to Q&A and see what you guys have to say. Like I said, it'll be interesting to see if it starts to drop out again now. For people that are joining late, I'm streaming at 4K 60 today, so it's a real test. But we haven't had too much buffering, so if I can do it like this, I mean, I'm willing to stick with it. But let me know in the chat below whether you think it's worthwhile. Anyway, I'd love to know your opinion about it. He said yes, it's 4K, looks good so far. Everyone's saying it looks really clear. Let me come back down a little bit more. Where were we? All right, let's see what people are saying. Oh, Michael, let's look at that one first. Love my M1 Mac. Blow my old Intel Mac away in every aspect aside from the smaller 21-inch monitor. Yeah, I love my M1 Mac too. I mean, it's driving all of this, but it's not doing the streaming. I mean, the streaming is done by other things, but yeah, I'll do a video about that separately because I want to talk about the whole thing that I'm doing here as well. Julian's just saying salute. Thank you, Julian. YouTube said G Prime's like the 2450, 2440, 50, I guess. Yeah, probably. But I mean, they're just adding so many different things now. It's just nuts, really, how much we have now. The 70 to 200 got a firmware update, fast as lighting now, 30 frames per second. That's great, Tony. But like I said, they can always improve these lenses. If you look at Canon, if you look at Nikon, they're up to version 3 or 4 of those lenses. So they're going to get updated. They'll probably make it smaller as well. They'll use the linear focusing that's in there. So things like that as well. I missed this one from Hero too. Hey David, will Tamron send you that 35 to 150? Yes. Yep, they will. The 18 to 300, I think I've already done. I think that was the one that I've already reviewed. They send me everything that's released when they get it anyway. Although we can't go out at the moment, so I don't know what I'd do with them because we're in lockdown. So Hero said 31 odd focal length. Yeah, it is. I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think about that? I'd love to know. The only new lens that I'm waiting on is the new Tamron 35 to 150. I know that's. I'm really excited about trying that one out. I really cannot wait to try that one out. Yeah, I'm really excited about it, actually. Something different, you know, and that's the thing I love about what Tamron have done there. It's something different to what everyone else is doing, so that's really exciting. And I think that probably could be the best wedding lens that you could use. That you could leave that on for the whole day. That would be brilliant for weddings and events. Hero also said still waiting on that 105. I know a few are. Like I said, Mark was as well. Source 3 says the Olympics in 2022. No, it's the Winter Olympics, Michael. I think that's next year. Can get rid of my 35, 50 and 85 primes. YouTube said Olympics in 2022. Yeah, I think it's the Winter Olympics they're talking about. Yeah, that's what Michael said there, yep. Brett said, I feel the same old A7 IV, laugh out loud. Global shutter here and the a9iii will rock. Yeah, I'm not, you know, I used to sort of think global shutter was the way to go, but they're getting so close now. With the A1 is basically there's no almost reason to go to a global shutter because what that's giving you. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in that regard, whether Sony do go with global shutter or not, because they tend to be pushing the boundaries so much now on these new shutters that it's going to be interesting just to see, you know, what happens there as well. A9 III is what I'm waiting for. Yeah, like I said, if I had the money too, that would be interesting. I'd love that. I still think if I bought a camera today and I needed it, I'd get an A7S III again. If the A7 IV doesn't have a flip-out screen, I know some of you guys hate flip-out screens. I know Gilbert does. But if it doesn't have a flip-out screen, I don't think I'd buy it. I think I'd probably go for another A7S III and just live with the 12 megapixels. But, you know, that's just me. Hero said if that's real, it will kill the A1. Yeah, I think I put that up before. Yeah, I thought that too, Joseph. I did think that they're currently 5.5 stops, so it's not really any different than other things that are there. The A7R4 has 5.5 stops, yep. If they do release that, it's going to cost $8,000. Well, yeah, probably will. That might be another thing as well. Like I said, it's going to be interesting to see, but like I did say, the A1 and that have different things there. So like I said, if you're after the 8K, if you're after the resolution, you could go with the A1. If you wanted the other things, obviously you could go with the A9 III. Sony already has most of the tech to make the camera like the rumoured A9 III. I agree. They could do it if they wanted to. There's no doubt about it. I think Sony would release an A9 III with fewer megapixels than the A9. Why do you think that, YouTube? That's interesting. Oh, I don't think. Yes. Okay. Yeah. I thought you said you think they would. Yeah. I mean, I think it would be. It would definitely be higher than what the A9 is. That's for sure. Brett said make sensor chips more available. Sony. Shane said 8K equals 33 whatever pixels, so 33 megapixel sensor suggests the A7 IV will do 8K. It could, Shane. I mean, look, I would not be surprised. Remember, we did get shocked when the A7 III was announced and released, because basically that destroyed the A7 II at the time, which was, you know, the best video camera out there. The A7 II still would beat it in very, very low light, but I'm talking, you know, up really extreme. Most sort of average 32,000 ISO or whatever, 64,000 ISO. The A7 III beats the A7 II. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do that. I'm not convinced, though, that they'll give 8K. I think they probably will just give us 4K 60 or 4K 120. But you never know. They could. Michael said, hopefully the A7 IV isn't 2,500. I think it will be, or a little bit more than that. Somewhere between 2,500 and 3,000. I think for what they're going to put in it, that's what I think it's going to be sort of priced at. What else have we got? Picked up the A7R3A with the new screen. Yep, I know. I don't blame you, Joseph. They've got to produce that screen for all of the newer cameras. Did you find it's a massive difference? See, I haven't seen one yet. Have you found it's a massive difference compared to what the previous screen was? It should be, because it's about double the resolution. Wonder if Sony will build their own chips soon. Not sure, Mark. It'd be interesting. Adorama is selling the A7 III for $1,698. I think Sony is trying to deplete their A7 III inventory for the release of the A7 IV. They may keep that camera going. I mean, that could be the thing, Joe. I mean, that might be their cheaper entry level. Remember, if that's priced at $1,698, if they brought out an A7 IV for $1,000 dearer, that's enough that would stop some people from spending another $1,000. They may buy the A7 III as their entry level camera coming in. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case, that they did keep both of those cameras going. Michael said the A7 III success. Oh, okay, you were talking about that from before. Mark said Sony chip manufacturers a bit like what Apple is doing with theirs. About time Capture One, I agree, because there's some things that were missing, and they were definitely missing, stitching and stuff like that. So that's going to be great that they're going to be putting in those features. Shane said, now can someone too in the Q&A put at David Osler, because I want to check and see if the list works up the top. I want to see if it does come up. in a separate list that's there. So if you can do in a couple of the questions at David Osler and then throw a question in, I'll just see if that... Oh no, but someone's done it down there. Wonder if you have to put the space in. Because John did put at David Osler and it didn't come through the separate thing. You might have to spell it too, David space and then Osler with a capital O. That might be the thing. It's meant to come up on a list up here. Let me just see. No. See, I'm beta testing this software. So it's interesting that I haven't got that up there, but I'll just keep going anyway. YouTube said, that's only true with the 16:9 sensor. Oh, you're answering someone else. Yeah. Melissa said, playing with some product photography during the lockdown, what reasonably priced macro lens would you recommend for my poor old A7R II? Well, the one that was sent to me was pretty good from Pergear. That was a 60mm one, 2.8, I think. Melissa, if you check my channel, you'll find it because it's really cheap and it's really quite good for what it does. So if you go back from my channel, you'll see that it's there. Oh, okay. Jim said, at David, I saw blonde hair. I love it. No, it doesn't come up with a separate thing. I thought it was meant to be a list up the top here. I'll have to play with that later. So, Melissa, yeah, check that out because I've done a review on a reasonably priced one that's really quite good. The Sigma 50mm macro is also quite good as well. What did Jim say here? Thumbs up, please. Yes, guys, please, if you can give me a thumbs up, really would appreciate it. It makes a big difference, particularly as I'm not sponsored and stuff. No more buffering. Picture is sharp. I've just got an error message coming up. I know it's just fast. It's saying I'm sending more data than what it needs. So, yeah, it's coming up okay on this side when you say at David Osler, but it's definitely not coming up in this chat, which is weird. Oh, they highlight green, I think. Oh, okay, they highlight green. Okay, so that makes sense. So it does come up differently there. So it highlights green. So I can see it. But I thought I could get it up in a list. Let me just check something here. What's that? Oh, okay. No, I know what that list is now for. I've got a list on the right-hand side that I can click on. I can click on a plus button, and that means that I can answer that later on. Okay, so it makes sense. So if you do at David Osler, they come up green, and then I don't miss them. It has a green box around it. Let me check down here. Cameron said no more buffering. Picture is sharp. John said, David Osler, I'm waiting on the Tamron 35-150. When do you think they will release that lens? I don't know, John, because I haven't even... I knew about this, obviously, before any of you guys knew about it. And I will get it in for testing when it's available, but I haven't been told when it's going to be released yet. I wouldn't think it'd be too long, though. But that lens is going to sell like crazy. Like I said, that is an amazing focal length. Great travel lens there as well. Shooting at f2 and it only goes to f2.8. It's going to be brilliant. Just a comment, have a Sigma 85 1.4 DNR lens trading in my Sony 85mm 1.4. Wow. So you've got the Sigma now, have you, Jim? And you like that better than the Sony? John said Tamron commented on their Instagram and said the 35-150 will be out sometime in the fall. Yeah, so probably within the next 3 months, I would say, definitely. Stuart's here as well. G'day, Stuart. How you going? A7 IV we just discussed a few minutes ago, so we discussed that there before. Stuart said the Sony a7S III kept it away for 5 years, so Sony may not rush if they don't need to. Ray's also saying here, hello David, long time. Yeah, it's good to see you catch a live, Ray. Greetings from Puerto Rico. Go Mikel. Joseph said, huge difference. I love it. I couldn't pass it up as a second body for under 2K yet. And that's what I would expect. Joseph is talking about the new screen that's on the Sony cameras. It's on the A7R 3A and the A7R 4A. And like I said, it doubles the resolution. Massive difference. Another thing I have purchased too, guys, and I'll have to do a review of it. I've just bought the new Ninja V Plus. So I've bought that to replace my Ninja V that I had, because if I do get a camera that can do 8K or other raw things like what Sony may bring out, I wanted to have the latest Ninja V. So I have purchased that over the last few days. Hello from Kuala Lumpur, David. Noor's saying that. Let me just go there. Sony engineer commented at the time of the A1 release that Sony can make the sensor faster without global shutter. Yeah, that's why I'm not convinced that Sony need a global shutter anymore. Let me know what you guys think about that. If you're not in the chat, let me know in the comment box down below. You know, I'm not certain now that we need it, particularly seeing that now we can have like that flash sync that we can get with the A1 and things like that. That was the biggest issue. Before, when we were using, say, the A9 or the a9iii, you couldn't use flash with the silent shutter, and that's because it just wasn't quick enough, and that's why you needed a global shutter. But now that you can do flash up to, I think it's 450th of a second with the A1, I'm not convinced that you need it. And rolling shutter is virtually non-existent now with the new cameras. So it's interesting anyway. Zoet Moment said, the only Sony camera that will be getting 8K is the A1 Mark II or the a9iii and the a7R4. To be honest, I'm waiting for till 8K 60 is available. I see the issue is too, I've got to wait until I could get a more beefy machine. My A1 just could not handle the 8K. It could handle one stream, but the second I put anything on top of it, it just slowed down terribly. What else have we got? Did I read that one? Sony have only just stopped selling the a7R2, which is 6 years old. Now they could keep the a7 III running for years. That's what you were saying. Yep, I agree. Jim Blondier. People were testing to see if it said at David Osler test, and yes, and it does. It comes up with green on my thing, so I don't miss it. So that's one real plus there as well. Ted said, David, remember when you recommended Rocket Air Blaster for the sensor dust? I had mine about a year now and no ruined images. Great tip. Yeah, the Rocket Air Blasters are great. Any of the Air Blasters are amazing. So Michael said, a Sony engineer, I've already read that one. I know it's something different. A Sony engineer commented at the time of the A1 release that Sony can make a faster sensor. Yeah, I did. Stuart said, Sony kept the a7R3 going. I've read that one before as well. Any idea what Sony might do to distinguish the updated 2470 GM from the Tamron 28-75 and the 35-150? The Tamron lenses are also getting all the attention right now, so curious as what Sony has up its sleeve. Well, it depends too. Remember, a lot of people will buy the 2470 over the 28 because they need that extra wide range. So if you need 24mm, the 28 is no good to you. There's also rumours that Tamron are upgrading the 28-75 to a version 2 as well. So see, this gets even murkier because it's going to be really interesting. I mean, look, the 2470 G Master, I would predict it will be unbelievably sharp. It will be incredible. If you look at all the new G Master lenses that have come out recently, they are incredible. You know, if you look at the 135, the 24, all of those lenses, the 50mm, they are all incredible. So I would still think that the G Master 2470 is probably going to be the ultimate in that range. It'll obviously also have the linear focus motors, but I also think that the Tamron 28-75 version 2 is going to be outstanding as well. Wait until I get one and do a test. So there's so many options out there now. It's incredible. Stuart said, good, thanks. Mikkel said, David, greetings from Puerto Rico. I read that before. Jim said, meant to say the Sigma 85 on order. I need the speed over the 85. Yep, fully understand, Jim. Makes a big difference. And also focusing, yeah, is a little bit slow on that. That will be updated. I'm pretty sure that will be updated sometime as well. The 85 I'm hoping that Sony bring out an 85 1.2. That would be incredible, but there isn't any rumors on that yet, but I think it probably will happen eventually. Sony owns lots of shares of Tamron. That's right, they do. So they're making money from it anyway. I'm sure they are quite happy that Tamron is doing that, and I agree, they would be happy. Sony is Tamron's second largest shareholder. They own 12%. I actually thought it was 15, but global shutter would increase the cost, so it's probably limited to industrial applications. I don't know if it's needed anymore. I really don't know if it's actually needed, a global shutter anymore. David, did you know you can shoot flash in silent mode on the A7R4 in pixel shift mode? Oh, cool. Yeah, I didn't know that, Stuart. That's interesting. What shutter speed what flash sync speed can you go up to? Hi, David and everyone from Croydon. Leslie's saying. Hi, Leslie. Hope you're enjoying lockdown. Sony future camera for the a9iii is going to do 50 frames per second blackout free, so rolling will be very minimal by that time if you're shooting 25 frames per second. Michael said, Michael Bell, true, but surely an updated version of the original GM has to be more than an also ran it. Oh, exactly. I think it's going to be a lot smaller. That's a given, I think. It will have the linear motors, which are just unbelievable. When you use the 135 and see how that focus is moving big glass around, it's incredible. And obviously it will have better glass in it, so it's going to be sharper. I mean, you know, it's going to be. Look. There's nothing wrong with the current 24-70 and the 70-200 GM lenses. They're amazing, but like anything, they can be upgraded. Alex said, hi David, very long time since I was on here. Do you think Sony will bring out an 85 1.2? Yes, I do eventually, Alex. It's just a matter of when. We just have to wait for it. But yeah, I do. I definitely do believe that. The 85 is still one of the nicest focal lengths for portraits. The 85, 105 and also 135 are brilliant in that focal length for portraits. You know, and I think it's only a matter of time before they bring out an 85 1.2. That's for sure. Go here, down here. Aaron's here too. G'day, Aaron. Hopefully we can get back with our live show soon. Aaron's been doing a lot of travel and work and stuff and just hasn't had the time. But when he's available, he just has to tell me and we'll start doing our show again. He's in Vegas at the moment. So I hope you're enjoying your bit of break, Aaron. How far into the zoom range do you think the Tamron 35 to 150 will stay at f2? I'm not sure. Well, I'll let you know when I get it. It's going to be interesting. Perhaps it might be sort of 35 to 50 and then it will change, but I would probably think around 50 mil it will probably go up to f2.8. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know what sort of voodoo stuff they're going to be doing here. So it's going to be interesting. But as a guess at this stage, I'll predict about 50 mil, but we'll have to wait and see. Michael said, an 85 1.2 would be awesome. I just rented the 50 1.2 GM. It's probably my favorite lens on my system. Incredible yet. See, it's amazing. They are just getting better and better, these GM lenses. And what they can do, you know, with the lens sizes that they are, like, I mean, I adore my 24 GM. Absolutely adore it. I'd love a 50, but I tend to not use 50 mil much. I've got the 55 1.8 and I love that lens. But I tend to, because I shoot portraits, I tend to go to, say, 85, and I'm nearly always using the 135 now whenever I do portraits. If ever someone says to me, you know, I want a portrait shot done or whatever, and I've got the room, I will immediately grab the 135. I just love that lens and that focal length. Stuart said, David, I say 1/8 of a second, so basically only ideal for products. Yeah, that's the problem, Stuart. Yeah, it's the shutter sync speed is the issue. Still great to reduce shutter wear when shooting 1000. Yeah, exactly. Hello from Lilydale. When will the lockdown end? I know. Can't wait to get out and shoot. I'm exactly the same. Who knows? I think we're going to be in it for a while, though. That's the unfortunate thing, Joe. Ray said, how about an updated macro 100? Maybe. But I think they'd probably do that. It's the 90mm is the macro, and that could be upgraded. That's still a great lens, though. It's a little bit slow in focusing, though, so they definitely... But look, let's be realistic. If you're doing macro photography, I mean, I know when I do macro, I'm always manual focusing anyway, so focusing is not really an issue. It's still one of the sharpest lenses out there, the Sony 90 macro, so I'm not sure they would, you know, update it, but who knows. Aaron said, yeah, So much work. I want to do a live show so bad. Well, I'm always here ready to go, Aaron. Rick said the a9iii, is there rumours about another A9 camera? I thought the AI put that to... Yes, I discussed it before, Rick. You'll have to go back and have a look because I discussed that sort of in depth. Let me know too, guys, has it been buffering much at all? Let me know how the stream has been going because I'm really curious to know. Joe said... if it's true, it's going to be heavier than expected and more expensive too. 1,700 easy. Yep, I agree. Stuart also said the G Master isn't. Oh no, I love it. That lens is easily my favourite lens. My two favourite lenses are the 135 and the 24. If ever I'm on a gimbal or whatever, I'll use the 24 GM. I just adore that lens on a gimbal. It's fantastic. The 55 is also good though too if you want, you know, a little bit more sort of range. But the 135 is just the ants pants. I just love it. It is just so good. Like I said, if someone could let me know too how the stream has been recently, just let me know if there's been much buffering. Curious to know in the live chat. Let's have a look. Rick said the A9 series is still continuing, but it's going to be sports specific, and the A1 is the new flagship series and we'll have the bell and whistles. Yeah. Well, it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, who knows what Sony are going to do? I mean, you just don't know what Sony are going to do. I wouldn't be surprised if the a7iv comes out with a lot more than what we expect. Well, that's good. People are saying no buffering, so that's great. So it's been good as well. No buffering here, just join late. No buffering. Well, that's great. Well, it's interesting because, like I said, I'm pushing the boundary here today with 4K 60. But, you know, let me know too in the comment box when you look at this later on whether you like sort of looking at it at this resolution. It should be super sharp, that's for sure. You'd be able to see the Susie Terminator. Watch where I'm pointing. The Susie Terminator. I've got to watch where I'm pointing up there now. The Susie Terminator up here. Michael is saying the stream fine. Aaron said this live stream looks great in the last 10 minutes. Yeah, I'm streaming 4K 60, Aaron. So I'm really pushing the boundaries here. So let me just see if that comes up. I noticed too the live chat's this chat though is a little bit slow than the live chat that I'm seeing on YouTube. Stream is buttery smooth. Well, that's good. So it looks like it's handling it reasonably well. I know we had a little bit of an issue early on, but it looks now like it's going fairly well. Let me just wait for these questions to come up. Yeah, it's about a 30-second delay I've noticed using this program compared to the comments that are over on that side. I've just got to wait for them to come up. Just said, thanks, no problem. Heath said, other than the few short freezes early on, the stream has been perfect. Yeah, it seems to be. Looking at the things down there, there's a couple of errors, but not much. But also, like I said, I do have some cache running on over here as well. So that cache will prevent some of the issues from happening too. So, you know, that helps as well. Aaron said, that's nuts, 4K. Yeah, and 4K 60, Aaron. So there was a special dialog box you can click on to go up to 4K 60. So I really am pushing boundaries here. So it's going to be interesting. Now, if you want to know the camera setup I'm using the a6-400 with the Sigma 16mm filter. So that's what I'm using to do this. Someone asked me, I did a test last night actually, and someone asked me if why I'm not using full frame. Well, I don't need to for what I'm doing here. You know, and it's perfect for sort of what I can see. And also I've got the monitor sitting up, so that works well as well. Now, just for the European viewers that watch this later on, I am going to start from next week. I'll probably do it Wednesday night or something, but I am going to start doing a stream for you guys. So I'm going to stream around about 6 p.m. my time, which will be then available for the European viewers to interact live. So that's what I'll be doing next week. So I will be doing that from now on once a week, and it'll just be a Q&A and things like that. But at least then most of the Europeans can hop in because their time zone is just so different. Like I said, Gilbert can never get on because it's, you know, it's basically really late. Well, what is the time over there? It's, yeah, it's 1:30 in the morning. So it'll be, at least it'll be available then for you guys to interact with me live, and I'll do that once a week as well. So this show will stay the same, which is the Sony Alpha News and Rumours, and then I'll have a Q&A that will be sort of in midweek as well. And like I said, once Aaron comes back as well, we'll have that sort of show going as well. Aaron just said, that's nuts, 4K. Like I said, my YouTube app, iPad don't give me 4K options. The Tamron lady at the WPPI show told me they were testing the new lens and it stayed at f2 somewhat between. That'll be amazing if it does stay at f2 to say 70 or 80 mil. That's a great portrait lens then. That's incredible. Aaron also said, love the 60p look. All right, guys. Well, that's it. We've been on for an hour. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Please, if you can, let me know what you think about the stream like this. Let me know what you think because I'm really curious to know, you know, if you think it's worthwhile doing it at this. And I'm just checking down here. Mark said, soon David will be able to stream to Mars. You wouldn't believe the setup I've got here now. It's incredible, this setup that I've got on here now. I don't know whether I can do it on here. Let me see if I can show you it. Where's my images? I'll see if it's come through. Yeah, it has. All right, so let me see. I can show you this, I think. If I switch to Super Source and go auto, you'll see it on the right-hand side there, what I've got now as my setup. So I've got, if you're looking at it, I've got the 49-inch Samsung, yeah, it's a Samsung monitor there that is giving me this widescreen look, which is brilliant for doing Final Cut Pro, stuff like that. And it's gorgeous. It's a 5K monitor, basically. I love the wide aspect ratio on that. Just above it is what I'm using to view all my camera angles. The one on the right-hand side, on my left-hand side over here, is a 4K monitor. That's an LG, and that's showing me what my stream settings are, and it's showing what the stream is at the moment, which is, it's just showing that I'm using 14 megabits per second going up, and it shows me the cache there as well. And it also gives me all my information on over there too, that it says I'm on air, and it gives me audio settings and things like that I'm using. Underneath that screen, well, I've got a monitor here that I actually didn't even turn on, but I've got a monitor here that is, let me just switch this on. I've got a monitor here that is showing me my Hyperdeck, which I use for the video. And on top of that is what I'm streaming with, which is my Web Presenter HD 4K model. That's down there as well. And then underneath that is a Stream Deck. I've also got my ATM Mini in the middle and another Stream Deck connected to that. Then I've got my Rode and also an Audio Fuse studio here as well on the right-hand side. And on the complete right-hand side there, I've got a MacBook Pro that I'm using to put the comments on the screen. So it gives you an idea about now how it looks, but I think I've got a couple with me sitting here that you can sort of see. I've also got a loop deck that you can see down there just above my iPad. So I use that for when I'm editing in Final Cut and things like that. So that's what I'm using for that. And I'm just using this little light. I can't even remember the name of this. It got sent to me and I reviewed it. That's above me to light me up that I'm using there as well. And, you know, it gives you an idea there. So I set this all up yesterday. I got rid of my older, I think it was a Samsung, yeah, it was about a 32-inch screen, but I wanted to get this really wraparound screen that I've got here because I absolutely love it. But it's like I'm sitting on a spaceship now and I'm completely surrounded, but I just love it. And it's, like I said, and now that I've been able to stream 4K 60 like this from it. It's unbelievable. Let me just see if anyone's saying that, just if anyone asks. Whale to Mars and back. I love it. Thanks, mate. Jim said, so good to see you back, Jim. Rick said, give the man some thumbs up. Yeah, love it if you could give me some thumbs up, guys. Brett said, too much toys, laugh out lady. I have spent a bit of money, I must admit, but, you know, it's what I love doing. Love the technology that's there. Beer cooler's right behind me, Jim. It's actually down there. I've got a fridge there that's my beer fridge. So it's there, don't you worry. It's just that I don't use it at the moment. But I will be using it there as well. Let me just see what people are saying over there. It takes about 30 seconds to come up on this screen here. Jim said, live from Osler's studios of Bacchus Marsh in Oz. Photography TV starring the host David Osler and Susie. Thomas said, David, which mic are you using? I'm using a Sennheiser. So it's a Sennheiser, it's an MKE 500, I think, was what it was. It wasn't cheap. It was pretty expensive. So that's what I'm using. Does it come down a fraction? Yeah, so that's what I'm using. It's just a Sennheiser mic. I did used to use the Rode one, which sort of wrapped around me, but the problem with that one was that it got in the way of anything that I wanted to do. So this way, nothing, you know, stops me and I can move around. The only thing is if you turn away like that, it'll echo. So, yeah. So that's what I'm using for that. Let me just have a quick drink. Aaron said, amazing setup. I know it's pretty cool now, Aaron, what I can produce now. I'm just sort of seeing over here what people are saying. All that tech. Let me see what over here, because then we can end, because this comes through a little bit quicker. Aaron saying, amazing setup. David O said, woo, what a setup. Leslie's saying as well. And let me just switch back to me. Go back to number 5 for that. Let me clear this off and take that off. And then I think that we can just go to the end. And that's the show. I'll see you all next week. Let me just turn this rundown theme off. Oops, rundown. It's that question, Q&A. Go back to social. Stay tuned during the week, guys. I will have a couple of reviews coming up, so stay tuned for that. Apart from that, everyone, thank you so much for joining in today. Any questions, leave them down below. And obviously, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, because the chat now, I only allow people that have subscribed to join in live. And I think there should be a benefit of following me and subscribing, so that's what's happening there as well. So apart from that, I'll see you next week.